is good for that. Sanical, of course, thuja is good for that as well. Wormwood, which gets rid of the parasite, and it has an astringent type of quality, and it's alkalining, trying to alkaline the system, because when it's alkaline, it can secrete more waste. Chamomile to calm down the liver, and also is yellow and acts on the liver. Hyssop opens the pores to get rid of the waste in the tissue. Parsley helps to excrete the waste. Plantain is good for the skin, and henna is good for the skin as well. Stimulates the cells. And celandine, which is good for the skin, of course, chicory and fennel. We're trying to go over as many diseases as possible so you can get a feel for how to use these herbs. Eyes, we sometimes get inflamed. We use borage, which is good for milk as well, in which case you would probably use eyebright in conjunction with this. Eyebright in conjunction with rosemary. Eyebright in conjunction with golden seal. Eyebright in conjunction with sassafras. Eyebright in conjunction with yellow dock. You see, eyebright in conjunction with golden seal to treat eye conditions. Eczema is waste coming out the skin, so we're back to things that relieve the impurities and get the impurities out of the skin. The golden seal, the nettle is good for the skin. Of course, the Oregon grape works on the liver, helps get rid of the waste. The pokeroot is good for mucous membrane, which is waste, helps release the waste in the skin. Plantain is good for the skin, as well as yellow dock being good for the skin and liver. So we're back to getting rid of the waste before it gets to the skin and causes an irritating condition called eczema. Here we get into the waste of the tissue again. We get into the skin kind of herbs with the chickweed, the golden seal, the magnolia, the plantain, the echinacea. All these herbs are good for the skin. Smartweed, and you sprinkle a little slippery elm on it as well. Epilepsy, of course, is muscle kind of conditions, spasms. So we use antispasmodic kind of things like black cohosh, elder, mistletoe, Peruvian bark. Valerian is a relaxer, skullcap is a relaxer, lady slipper, another antispasmodic kind of herb. We use that for epilepsy. Fevers, we have a combination of herbs we can use here. We can use the catnip, the sage, the shepherd's perch, the sumac, the sweet balm, the tansy, the thyme. But fevers, the popular ones today is cat claw and feverfew to break fevers. But fever is a defense reaction. The body's really not a disease at all. We have the white cherry, the willow, white willow, the wintergreen, the wood sage, the wormwood, the calamus. All these are good for fevers. So we don't have to use all of them together. Sometimes you look at these herb books and you see all these herbs and try to figure out which ones to use. As I mentioned before, the cat's claw is popular, and the feverfew, which you can readily get. Flooding, which is basically relieved by bayberry bark tea, ginger, and cinnamon tea that checks the flooding. These are astringents, shepherd's purse, sage. We're back to using astringents again. Fainting, which can be due to dizziness, but we're trying to increase the oxygen supply to the brain and nervous system, so we use lavender to prevent fainting, or catnip or peppermint, which are antispasmodics. Well, the female troubles in general, we use the herbs to help with the estrogen, the black and blue cohosh, the squaw vine. We're using those kind of herbs in this remedy here. But all around herb will be the red raspberry leaves. And we're back to indigestion, the nest seeds, the caraway seeds, the dill, the fennel. Most of the what you call seasonings are the ones used for digestion. Oregano, sage, peppermint, thyme, ginger, nutmeg, seasoning type herbs. Now we have the gallstones up here, and we're trying to get rid of them. A lot of people just use olive oil to get rid of the gallstones, or they use a laxative like Cascara sagrada, or milkweed, or parsley, trying to urinate it out. Goder, of course, is swollen glands, so we use a gland, something really swelling of the glands, echinacea, and pokeroot are good for glands. White oak bark is astringent, good for the glands. Sometimes you apply it right topically on the skin. Gangrene is rotting of the skin itself, so we want to calm down the tissue, rather relax so more blood can get in it. So we use catnip, chamomile, those kind of herbs. Comfrey is good for healing all around. Myrrh is antiseptic, and echinacea is good for the skin and pores. Golden seal, smartweed, pleurisy, combined together in a hot fermentation that you put over the gangrene.